everybody, it's Kathy and you're back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I had the opportunity this weekend to attend a virtual crafting retreat, and when I say virtual, everything was done online, and it was so much fun, and I got some great ideas, and this happened to be one of the cards that I made. This card was a mystery stamping card, and if you don't know what mystery stamping is, you're given clues and you're told where to cut your paper. You pick out your paper ahead of time, so you pick out your designer series paper, you pick out stamps and inks, how you would think you would want your card to go together, and then you follow the demonstrator as she gives you what to do. So we're going to do this card, but I'm not going to do mystery stamping. I'm going to give it to you exactly the way it was given to me. So hopefully this will be a really good lesson in how to make this beautiful card. And I'm not sure what they call this card. I would call it a gatefold envelope card, because this looks like an envelope flap and it sits on a card base. You've got place in here to sign. You could actually decorate here, but it might make it a little bit too bulky. And you also have this wonderful place on the back where you could also put a tag or whatever, and it would be absolutely gorgeous. So let's get to work on that and see what we can do. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 10.5. So we're going to cut this piece first. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches lengthways. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer on the 8.5 inch side at 4. And I'm just going to make a slice, move that score blade out of my way. Did I do 4? Nope, I think I only did 3. I did. Oh, blundered already. Okay, let's get this over to 4. Thank goodness we got more cardstock. It happens. So cut that to 4. And then it needs to be 10.5, and I know this is 11, so I'm just going to take 1/2 inch off of the side. Or you could pull this out. If you wanted to pull your arm out, you could put this at 10.5, and it would still be the same thing. You're still taking that 1/2 inch off down here. So that's just a little shortcut that I use every now and then. Now we're going to need to score this piece, so I'm going to go ahead and score this, and you're going to do it at 2 5/8 on each end, and I'm going to show you why you do that. No, I'm sorry. You're going to score at 2 5/8, and then you're going to score at 7 7/8, and that's the way you want to make sure you do it. So 2, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So I'm going to move my cut blade, and I'm going to score right here at 2 5/8. Then I'm going to move it down to 7 7/8. And you're going to score again. Now these are the only 2 score marks you need on this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and fold and fold, and when you put that together you should have a nice little gatefold. This is going to be the first piece of our card. The next piece that we're going to need a piece of designer series paper. And I'm debating, I'm going back and forth, but I think I'm going to commit to this piece. And we need a 6 by 6. So I'm going to close my arm up, because this trimmer has a great little lip right here that if you line up your paper to this top corner, it is 6 inches. So I'm going to move that score blade, and I'm going to slice this at 6, and then I'm going to turn it and slice it again at 6. Now this works better if you use a non-directional paper, and what I mean about that, this would look good like this, like this, like this, like this. So don't have a direction to it. That's your main key. So the next thing we need is we need a base for our card, and that piece needs to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let's see, what color do I want to use? I think I'm going to grab that Night of Navy. Let's see if I have a Night of Navy matte over here, and if we do, we'll just use it. We could do the Melon Mambo. Let's see how that would look, because I do have a piece of that. already pre-cut. Oh, that'd be gorgeous. Okay, we'll go with that. So what we're going to do, we'll have, and we need a piece of white also. This is going to go on here like this, and then we're going to manipulate this to come over. I'm going to lay my colors out just to see if that's what I want. I don't know about the pink. I think it's a little too much. So let's revisit that, and I really wanted a Night of Navy. So if I can't find Night of Navy up here, let me just grab a piece of Night of Navy. Simple enough. You know, I might have it down here in my scrap bin. So none that's big enough. So let's go to my neutrals, and I'm going to grab out a sheet of Night of Navy. And there is our beautiful navy blue. And we're going to need this piece to be 4 1/4. So I think I'll cut it. Okay, it needs to be 5 1/2. I'm going to cut it this way. 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And now that is going to be our base back piece for our card. And then when I put this on top, oh yeah, that I love. All right, we also need a piece of basic white, so I'm going to go into my scrap bin because I know I've got white in here. And this piece needs to be 3 3/4 by 5. So let's go ahead and get it to 5. Double checking. Measure twice, cut once. 5 by 3 3/4. And you're also going to need some other little scraps, but we'll get to that as we make our card. So I'm going to move my Designer Series paper back over here, and I'm using that paper pack is this paper pack is called Hues of Happiness, and it coordinates with the Happiness Abounds. This is a new paper and stamp set that's coming to us in starting tomorrow. The new catalog launches tomorrow, and I could not be happier. I cannot wait to place my order and get all of my new goodies so that I can show them to you. All right, so we got all of our elements. So this piece is going to actually go inside, and this piece is going to go here. But now you're probably saying, what are you going to do with this? We are going to fold this. Oh, that's pretty too, isn't it? We're going to fold this on the diagonal. So just line up your points. And what I like to do is just press down to the middle and then out to each corner using my finger. Then I come back in with my bone folder. If I can find my bone folder. And crease that just like this. Oops. You want to make sure you keep your point intact. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take and lay this onto your piece. Just lay it over top of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off these little edges here. So we're going to use a pencil. And, I mean, you could use a pen, but I like to use a pencil so that it just helps me quite a bit. So let me, that way if I need to erase, but I don't think we will on this one because we're going to cut to the inside of that pencil line. So all I'm going to do is make a pencil line dark enough where I can see it on both sides. And I want to cut straight up, but I want to cut that pencil line away. So I'm just going to take, let's hold it here, and I'm going to cut straight up like that. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to cut that pencil line away. So just go to the left of your pencil line and cut that away. Very easy, very peasy. We're going to need to score 1/2 inch on this. This might make it work even better. We're going to put this into our scoreboard or our trimmer and line it up on 1/2 inch, and we're going to make a score line right there. So score it really good because you're going through 2 layers of designer series paper, and then you just want to fold that back. And we're going to get our bone folder so we can grab my other bone folder. So we're going to really give this a good crease. Just like that. And then I'm going to decide which way do I want this piece to go. And I think I want it to go like that. Yep. Just like that. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to open this up and I want to glue this completely shut. And to do that, I'm just going to use some liquid glue. And I'm going to put glue all over. And see, I'm not putting a lot. I'm using the spine tip applicator. And these were little bottles that I just picked up off of Amazon, because I wanted something that would give me a much finer line of glue. So I'm only putting it on one side. I've got a little bit on my mat, that's okay. And then I'm going to close this completely up and just press it out. And I'm going to do my little ironing thing that y'all know I love to do. And then I'm going to fold that back over while it's still wet and get my crease line going. Just like that. And now we are going to close your card and sit that down right over top of your piece. Now, if anybody wants to order any of the retiring items, today is your last day to get those, because after today, a lot of these items are going to go away. Some may end up back in the clearance place on the, we always have a clearance section in the shopping on my app, but I never know what they're going to put in there and what they're not going to put in there. So it's a good idea just to go back in there and get whatever it is that you might want. So okay, we're going to take some, you could do liquid glue on here. I'm going to actually use some Stampin Seal Plus. That's if I can find my Stampin Seal. I had it just a moment ago. And y'all are thinking, of course, sure you did. Sure you did. Oh my word. I had it just a minute. Okay. It's got to be right here on my desk. It's not in my drawer where I normally keep it. My other tapes are here. So what did I do with my... Let's look over here. Here it is. I figured it was covered up with a piece of cardstock, and it was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Stampin Seal, and I'm going to run Stampin Seal right here on this little 1/2 inch. I'm going to make sure it's up to the end, and I'm going to start right there at the edge, and I'm going to glide it down just like that. And then I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to lay my card into the back of that, and then I'm just going to press that down just like that. See how easy that adhered to that? And it's so pretty. Don't you think that makes a stunning card? So we're going to open up now, and we're going to need to get a stamp that we want to put on the inside of this. And I think I'm going to use the Wishing You All the Happiness You Can Imagine. And that would be this one right here. Just like that. I'm going to line that up and try to get that nice and straight. Let's do this. Let's get it straight on our block, and then hopefully we'll have it straight going in on our card base. So I'm going to line that up like that. And I think for this one, I'm going to use my Memento ink. We could use Night of Navy. Yeah, let's do Night of Navy. And we need to do one other thing. We got to do some stamping on here. And I'm going to show you a different... on this one, I actually cut out some die cuts and put them in, but I was doing mystery and I wasn't sure. I think I'm going to go with some ink on this. I'm going to grab a Granny Apple Green. Of course, I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to get my Night of Navy. So I'm going to do Night of Navy here. And we're just going to stamp this right in the middle. Maybe up a little bit. Just like that. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. And now I'm going to use this beautiful rose that's in this stamp set. I like that one. And we are going to do that as a tone on tone. And I am going to grab a stamp block that will fit on. And I'm going to bring this over. And it doesn't matter if I get it back here because nobody's going to see here, but I am going to bring in a piece of grid paper, and this is a piece that I've used before. And I'm going to open up this Granny Apple Green and load up my ink, and then I'm going to stamp all over this piece. And we're going to get a beautiful tone on tone. I'm turning my stamp block as I go. Like I said, it doesn't matter back on this side because that's not going to be seen. Okay, so when you turn that over, that's going to look like that underneath, and it's so pretty like that. So let's turn that back over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. We are going to stamp and stamp. Like I said, don't be afraid to turn your stamp as you do this. And if you wanted to, you could definitely do this before you glue everything together. Okay, that looks really good. So I'm just going to clean my stamp off a little bit right there. I didn't get that very clean at all. There we go. And of course I got green thumbs. I have a green thumb. Okay. Let's get this back over here. Bring this piece over. Let me close up this ink before I make even a bigger mess. And we're going to close this up like this. And look how beautiful that looks. Now this piece right here is going to go inside. Just like that. And I'm going to use a little Stampin Seal to put this down. This is a card that comes together so quickly. You will be so surprised, and it makes such a great impact. You know, we all like to send those wow cards, and this is definitely one of them. And I thank Sharon Armstrong for this design because she was our mystery stamper, and she does mystery stamping. So if you have not checked her out, you might want to. She is wonderful. I love Sharon. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? And we're not done. We still have to decorate some more on here. So I want to cut something to go here on the front. And I think I'm going to grab that Petal Pink, or maybe it's Blushing Bride. I think that might be Blushing Bride. And I've got a piece right here. So I want to cut, let me go back here because I don't know if you know it or not, but the Hues of Happiness, you have a couple of pieces of this paper where you can cut these flowers out. And I think I want to go in, and you can also die cut the leaves. I'm thinking I want to go in and grab a couple of those and those leaves. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me move all of this stuff out of our way because we're going to need to bring in, oh, don't forget we're going to put that, let's go ahead and adhere this onto our card base before we get ahead of ourselves. And then we're going to do some die cutting. Alright, this goes on just like that. Oh, so pretty. I love it. I love it. Alright, I need to decide what I want to put this on with. So that's going to cover up where you went over. It's going to cover up where this seam is right here. And my question is, do I want to do liquid glue? And I think I do. And I'm going to grab my regular bottle because I want some heavy glue back here just to hold this. So this bottle puts it out a lot heavier than our other bottle. Of course, it doesn't take a lot. Sometimes less is more. So I'm going to take this whole card and sit it right onto my navy card base. And I'm going to slide that up just a hair. This is the good thing about the liquid glue. It gives you a little tiny bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to take one of our huge, oops, I dumped this drawer out earlier and it was not pretty. This is my drawer that has all of my blocks in it. And you can see how these blocks are big, and that's the biggest block that we carry. If you need anything bigger, you have to go to the Stamparatus. But I love that. I think it's great. And I'm going to get my top back on my glue so I don't end up with a mess. Alright, now I want to show you how you can use your die cut machine to cut out some of these flowers. And I think what I want is these right here. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut in. I know it's so bad, it's so hard to cut this paper because it's so pretty, but it's okay. We've got plenty of it. I'm going to come up around here and over, and maybe up around this one. I want to get a piece of this in my scan and cut too because, oh, so pretty. And I just want to cut and get these flowers off of here. And I think this would be a beautiful piece to cut in our scan and cut. But that's a different video for a different day. Alright, I'm going to grab my dies, which are the Blossoming Happiness dies. So I keep them all alphabetical so that it makes it easy for me to find them. And here we go. So I'm going to take out the ones that will cut these pieces, and that is this one, the big rose, you got to kind of wiggle them around and get them where you want them. How about this leaf? And I think we can probably get that smaller rose right there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut these out on my die cut machine, and we'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I cut out this rose and that rose, this greenery, this little rose, these leaves, and I think now we're ready. Now if you notice I got a little bit too much white on that one, all you have to do is take your snips and just trim it out. Now if it doesn't bother you, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. You do not have to trim anything, but I am going to trim a little bit of the white off, just a smidgen, just on some of them. Just where I thought that it picked up a little bit too much, because when you're cutting out of the designer series paper with the dies, and a lot of our paper does that, it will coordinate with the dies. You do get sometimes a little bit of white because it might be a little bit hard to get in there. You feel like you're going to cut a part of the other flower or leaves or whatever, and it can be a little tricky. So if that happens and there's a little bit more white on your piece than you like, trim it off. You know, just take your snips and go in just like that, and just snip it out. It's no big deal. It's just paper, and then you can have your beautiful pieces to go onto your card just like you like it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these back down on my magnetic sheet so I don't lose my dies. It's so easy to lose small pieces, so I usually try to make sure that I get everything back together. And this is what I had left from the piece of paper. That was one of them. I think the other piece I threw in the trash. But anyway, we are ready now to bring our card over. I got everything dried down on it now. That's not coming loose. And we can go ahead and decorate. So you can gather your flowers however you want them. If you feel like you need a focal point or something to put them on, go ahead and cut yourself out a label. And I think I am going to do it out of Decisions. I think white might be a little, I don't know. The white would be pretty, I think. Let's try it. I'm going to grab my my scallop contour dies. That is these right here. I love these dies because you've got all of these pieces, and I think maybe this one we could stamp our sentiment in and let the flowers kind of go up around it. Let's try that. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of white, and I'm going to push everything over here. We're going to cut a piece out using a scrap of white, just like that. So I'm going to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over. This machine is such a great machine to use. It just works good every single time. I love it. I love it. Now, if you're cutting an angle, a straight piece, put it in at an angle. Let me see if I can zoom you out a little bit. See how I had that turned at a bit of an angle going in? That will keep it from popping and cracking so much. And it's much easier on your machine, and it's much easier on your arm. I'm doing this with my fingers. And it cuts beautifully every single time. So look how pretty that is. Gorgeous. Go ahead and put my die back in there. And we can go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And I think for this one, let me look at my card. you all the happiness you can imagine. Well, we're going to do a happy birthday up here. And I want a pretty happy birthday, so y'all know which stamp set I'm going for. I'm going for Peaceful Moments because I love that happy birthday. So we are going to pull out the happy birthday, and we're going to stamp this kind of up to the top like that. And I think I'm going to go for that Night of Navy again. Get my stamp lined up right about here. Let me zoom y'all back in just a hair. Ink it up. I'm going to stamp it first right here. Oh, looks beautiful. So I'm going to ink again and kind of up to the top. Love it. And wipe my stamp off. And now we can put this right here, and we can pop these flowers around with some of the greenery. I tell you what, let's go ahead. I'm going to pop the happy birthday up on Dimensionals, and I'm using up some of my strips that have been left over from other pages of my Dimensionals. This is a great place to use those when you have a strip like this. Look how great those work all the way around, just like that. And then if you run into a place where you need just a little bit, you can snip your corners off of your piece, just like that, and get another little piece in there. And then I need a little piece in the middle. So I'm going to snip this piece right about here. I don't waste any of my dimensionals. I use them all. So now I'm just going to pull the paper off of these using my fingers. We got a little bit of overlap right there, and it wasn't a happy camper, so just making sure that you get all of those stickies off, or I should say the backer off of the sticky. And I think we're good now. So I'm going to stick this down right about here. And now we can go ahead and start building where we want our flowers to be. So I want this one to be a focal, so I want this one to be right here. So I know I need glue there and a couple dimensionals here. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals again. So I'm going to put dimensionals up here. Bella, good girl. And I'm going to use liquid glue for the bottom. And let's get our backers off. Bella. Bella's being very needy right now. So I'm going to turn that around because I know that I want that bottom to go right there. That's where my dimensionals are, and my glue's up here. Before I glue that down completely though, I want to get some leaves under it. A little bit of greenery. We'll glue that in just a moment, but I definitely want those leaves there. That worked good. Yeah, I think I want this one to go right about there. So I'm just going to glue this one flat down. And maybe a little greenery right there. And I don't know if we're going to have room for this one. We might put this one on the inside. I like the way that looks. So let's save this one and see if we can put it right about here. And be over here, because I like to sign to the right. So we're going to put that one there. And this little bit of greenery. And we want these to go in flat. So this one's going to go... about like that. So I'm going to glue this to here. And let's put glue all over. Set this right into the glue. And then set everything down just like that. Put a little bit of glue up under here. Press that down. And now we need some gems. So I'm going to reach over and grab my gems. And I want something that has a navy in it, if I can find something. That's close, but I think we can use these. These are the rhinestone waves, and I don't know if they're still in the catalog. These were limited, but I still have some of these, so why not use them? And we are going to take some of the darker blue ones. You can see I've used a ton of these because they're so pretty. And we're going to put one there. And we can even go a little lighter. Let's put one there. I think I want one of these lighter blue ones right in the center of my flower. And maybe another dark one. You know what? I think that's good right there. You can always look inside and see. Put one there, and I'm going to put one here on that flower. Alright, I think I am done. I think this card turned out really good, and it didn't take a whole long time to do it, even with cutting the flowers out of the designer series paper. I love the way this turned out. I think this is a card that you'd be proud to give anybody. And if you don't want to sign here, you could always go in and put a panel back here. One of these larger scallop contour dies would be perfect for that. You could use one like that and cut it in white and glue it on the back, and that would be a great way to have a place to write a personal message. I think that'd be so cute. But that's our card for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and let me bring over the original one that I made. And I love both of them. They're so different, but yet they're the same design, and just goes to show how you can take one design and make two different cards that both look totally different, but yet both of them are beautiful in their own way, sort of like we are. God bless and keep you, and thank you so much for tuning in once again. If you would like to find any of the products that I used today, check out my online store. It's in the description below. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please think about doing so. I'm working really hard to get to that 2K, and I need more people. So if you watch my channel but you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.